Hi everyone, welcome to the session being conducted by Cracku. This session is to help you all with the application procedure and the application process of FMS Delhi. Let us know any doubts you might have, put them in the chat box, and we are happy to help you. Before we proceed, let's start with our introduction. I am Garima Garg, first year MBA student at FMS Delhi. I did my graduation from Kirodimal College, University of Delhi. I had a BCom degree and I joined FMS as a fresher only, so I had no work ex. I belong to Siwani, Haryana, and my profile is 998. That is 96% in class 10th, 97.6% in class 12th, and 8.62 CGPA in my graduation. Yeah, so that's pretty much about me.
Hello guys, I'm Shefali Choudhary. I am from Bangalore. I have done my BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, post which I have worked in Wipro for 42 months as a software developer. Now I'm doing my MBA at FMS Delhi. So I will be happy to help you with any questions that you will be having further as we proceed in the session.
Yes, so hello everyone, my name is Mohit. I did my engineering from NIT Kurukshetra, post which I worked with WNS Global Services for close to 2 years. And my profile is 988 and I'm a first year student at FMS.
Okay, starting with the basic process of application. So the first shortlisting, so the entire process is just shortlisting, and then you have a PI. Shortlisting, the calls that you get is based on your CAT score. There are different weightages given to your VRC, DILR, and QA score. To VRC, it is 40%, DILR, it is 30%, and 30% again to QA. That is the weightage that is given to your different sectional percentiles. Based on that, you can calculate your composite score and anticipate if you will be getting a call or not. Women are given 5% extra in both the scenarios, like both the times during shortlisting as well as during the final calls made after PI.
Yes. So talking about the process of application process, I think SOP plays a major role in the application process. And I would just like to highlight a few pointers that you would have to keep in mind while writing your SOP. So I think everyone has their own story to tell. So that is totally personalized to yourself. But certain hygiene checks that one should keep in mind while writing an SOP is that you would first have to mention about your background. So be very clear, crisp about your background, where you belong to, what you have done in the past. If you have any sort of work experience, you could mention that, and also putting in certain events or hooks that have led you to envision your long-term career or to adopt an MBA journey will help you in the SOP process, since I think the word limit is around 1,000 characters. So you will have to be crisp with it, but keeping in mind these pointers will help a lot. Also, lastly, you could add certain values that have driven you all along your life. So something like some sort of values that have helped you through your journey. This will help you add a personalization to your entire SOP, and will give you personal touch and edge over other SOP applicants.
Yes, so talking about the timelines, I think only 2 days are left for registration, post which calls will be released in the, I think, third week of March. So the calls are released in the ratio of 1:7. For every seat, 7 people would be called for an interview. And interviews typically take place in the third week of April, and the results are released just 1 or 2 days after the interviews conclude. So it just takes 5 days for the interviews to conclude. And the interviews take place only in Delhi at the FMS campus itself. So there is no other city where you can give an interview for FMS.
We'll share our interview experiences with you guys to get a better idea how exactly the interview of FMS takes place. So generally the interview lasts for 7 to 8 minutes. Mine was kind of an exception. It lasted for 15 minutes, but it was more about discussion on who I am. So it started with my introduction, and then all the questions were from my introduction for the first 5 to 7 minutes, post which they were based on academics. Starting from my introduction, they focused a lot on why do I want to do MBA right after my graduation? Why not work experience? These were the kind of questions I was asked. And then even my extempore topic, I can see one question in the live chat which is about how to prepare for extempore. So answering that along with my interview experience, your extempore topic is more or less from what you have said so far in your interview itself. Just like I mentioned that I come from a business family, I want to do it. I want to get into entrepreneurship 10 years down the line, or whenever I get a chance. That is my ultimate aim. So that is what drove my entire interview. And even my extempore topic was managers versus entrepreneurs. Like how MBA helps you to become a manager and how MBA helps you to become entrepreneur. What is the difference between them? So that was my extempore topic. Apart from that, so the first 7 minutes were about me only. Post which they asked me certain questions from accounts, like my favorite subject, a few questions from those subjects. Like I come from a BCom background, so they asked me questions from accountancy. They asked me questions from economics. Then I mentioned that I want to specialize in marketing, so they asked me a few questions around marketing as well. But the overall interview was very chill, and it was more about understanding each other, as in they were telling me what FMS is, what FMS culture is. Similarly, I was expressing what drives me towards FMS, right? So it was the entire interview experience. Maybe Shefali and Mohit will share their interviews.
Sure. So I'll start with my interview experience. My interview experience lasted for around 7 to 8 minutes, and it started with TMA wise. So tell me about yourself. The interviewers consisted of 2 professors and 2 alums. My extemporary topic revolved around what I spoke in the TMAY. So it is very essential here that you prepare and structure your TMAY very articulately, and it's very clear in your mind, and when you speak it out, it's very personalized and it creates an impact at the moment. So my extemporary topic further was ethical aspects or ethics that were followed at your workplace. This was actually based on what I spoke in my TMAY, and I got 10 seconds to think on the topic and 1 minute to speak on it. Following which I was asked questions based on what I spoke in the extemporary. So you have to be very clear and mindful of what you're speaking and the words that you mention. So you could have a lot of follow-up questions while you're speaking up a question, while you're answering a question, and you would follow. So I had mentioned about Azim Premji in my extemporary topic, since it was related to Wipro. So if you have WorkX, so you should know about your company, about its chairman, the CEO, revenues earned by the company, any sort of cultural follow-ups that the company has. Everything in and out about your company should be very clear and thorough in your head. After which I was asked a question on why MBA, why I want to do an MBA. So this is something that you should be able to connect with your previous experiences in your life. If you have a WorkX, then some instances from your WorkX which made you believe and envision your long-term career goal. Also, this could have an element of why you want to do an MBA from FMS. So all these questions, these HR questions, should be prepared well in advance and should be very clear with. Following this question, I think I had a question from my SOP. So SOP holds a weightage in your interview as well. And this SOP question, so when you're writing your SOP, be very thorough with each and every word that you mention in your SOP. So you should know in and out of whatever you've mentioned in your SOP. Any random word could be picked up from your SOP and you could be asked to explain. So I had mentioned about groundbreaking solutions. So I was randomly asked to speak what I meant by groundbreaking solution. So I was able to justify it with the help of an example. So SOP plays a drastic role. It's a make or break situation in your interview process and other further processes. I can't mention enough about the importance of SOP. The next question is about your domain. So if I belong to a BTech domain, so you should be aware about the current affairs and current occurrences around your domain and streams. So I was asked about my opinions on green hydrogen, difference between green hydrogen, brown hydrogen, the process of electrolysis, my opinion on lithium reserves found in Jammu and Kashmir. So all these were those current affair topics that were prevalent at that point in time a year back. And you should be well versed with all the current happenings in your domain, and also a little bit of whatever is happening. So a 1 hour reading every day of newspaper constantly would help a lot in this. So this was my interview experience. Mohit, you would like to take it further?
Yeah, sure. So my interview also only lasted maybe 10 minutes. So it started on a different note than Garima and Shefali. They didn't ask for my introduction. They made some small talk and then straight away jumped on to extempore. My extempore topic was that I had to speak against the statement that leaders are born and not made. So I was again given 10 seconds to think and a minute to speak. So you need to be very spontaneous in case you end up with a random topic like this. Post which they asked for my favorite subjects in my graduation, and then went on to ask a few questions from those. They basically gave me a small case study and wanted to see how I would approach it. After that, they asked me general questions about how the Indian economy is doing, what are my thoughts on sustainability, and so on. So that was my interview experience in brief.
So certain tips that you would like to share, Garima, about how?
Yeah, so for the interview, as we mentioned about our experiences, you could see that there's a structure to it. There are 5 elements. First is your introduction about you, who you are as a person. You should know yourself, right? That is the first and most important thing. Who you are, what you have done, what you want to do. That is something that you should be very clear with. That is, again, your HR answers, right? Why do you want to do MBA? What are your strengths? What do you expect out of this program? And all these things. The second element is your academics. Whatever subjects you had in your undergrad, you should be well versed with those subjects. And then the specialization you want to do, you should. FMS does not expect you to know everything about it, but a basic understanding of the concepts, so that you yourself are clear why exactly you want to do specialization in this particular domain itself, right? And if you have work ex, so again questions related to your work ex. Third is current affairs. I wasn't asked any current affair in my interview, but as Shefali mentioned, she was asked opinions on different things. So make sure that you keep reading newspapers regularly. You know what's happening around, and do not just read the highlights or headlines, right? Know why it is happening. Form your opinion if it is right or if it is not. FMS is not interested in knowing that if you're aware of the facts or not. It is interested in knowing how your thought process works, right? So build that thought process. The fourth element is extempore, which is 99% going to be from what you have said so far or what you have mentioned in your SOP. Fifth part is definitely your SOP discussion, where again you will be asked why do you want to do MBA, what you have done in your past that prompted you to do MBA. So for this, what I did for my SOP is that I followed a particular structure which was past, present, and future. I divided the entire 1000 characters in 3 parts, wherein I mentioned in brief, as in what I have done so far in my life, which prompted me to do MBA. Then in present, what in these 2 years I want to do, how I want to build my soft and hard skills throughout this program, and then post MBA, what are my ambitions, right? 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So that's how I structured my entire SOP. It revolved around me and MBA, and again MBA from FMS. So what are the specific things that FMS gives me, and that fits into my career prospects? right? So that's how you can also structure, or maybe you can use a different structure that Shefali or Mohit might give you.
Yeah, so my SOP was also on the similar lines itself, as I've mentioned. Mohit, you would want to take.
Yeah, I totally agree with the structure part. But one thing I would like to add is that you need to be very careful with the keywords or phrases that you're adding in your SOP. So, for example, so you can maybe get your SOP reviewed from a senior or maybe your friends, because you need to anticipate what kind of questions can come up from what you are writing in your SOP. So, for example, I had my SOP reviewed from a friend after I had submitted it, and I had written something like that I've always had a strong inclination towards technology or something like that. So the friend told me that they can ask you a counter question, that why do you want to move to management then if you are so interested in staying in the tech field? And that's exactly what happened. That exact same question was asked to me in my interview. But since I was prepared, I was able to give a very good answer to it. So I would strongly suggest you to get the SOP reviewed and make a list of what kind of counter questions can come up from what you are writing in your SOP.
Yeah, all right. I think we have a few questions in the chat box that we would now like to take up. I think a lot of questions are around the selection process. I have already mentioned how the shortlists come for the first round. Just to reiterate the same, and I'll share the entire process. So it is divided into two phases. The first phase includes shortlisting and the personal interviews. The shortlisting is done on the basis of your weighted CAT score. The weighted CAT score, as I mentioned earlier, it is computed by giving weightage of 40% to your VARC, 30% to your DILR, and 30% to QA. So that's how your first shortlisting or the calls are given. Once the student is shortlisted, the final merit list is made based on the following criteria, which is CAT 2020 like CAT score, which is given 50% weightage. Your class 10 score is given 10% weightage. Again, 12 score 10%. Discussion on SOP is 10%. Extempore is 5%, and your PI is 15%. So that's how the entire structure is framed. You can also refer to our website if you want to get to know more about it. If you want to know more about it, just go through our website. And just one more point, which is regarding the diversity. So for females, there are extra 5 points in both the phases, in the calls and as well as in the final merit list. Maybe you can take up the next few questions.
So talking about the extempore, I would like to mention that here you need to prepare on abstract topics as well. So sometimes you might get extempore topics which may be mirror image or last but not the least. So there have been instances with my peers and fellow mates who have got abstract topics. Here the best way to prepare would be to randomly ask your family members to give you a topic and you could speak on it for a minute or so. So this would make you articulate your thoughts better and plan it better at the moment. So when you speak on the D-Day, you would be more prepared and to speak on the flow. Extempore is not about, making a lot of points which you have to structure line by line, but it is impromptu and you have to be able to think on your feet and structure it at the moment. So the more you practice, the more it will help you on the D-Day. You could also probably speak in front of the mirror. This would lead to a self-actualization process. You could visualize where you are actually going wrong, or it'll help you build confidence in yourself and let you understand what your points of what is missing and what is the lacks that you have to improve on. So this is a few things. That anything that you would want to add on the extempore?
I think that's fine. Maybe we have a few more questions. How to justify a gap year which was taken for CAT prep or left job abruptly? So how to answer that particular kind of questions? Maybe Mohit, if you would like to take that up.
Sure. So first of all, if you have a gap year, you need to be honest about why you took a gap year, and then you can justify it by telling them that what extra things that you did in that gap year apart from preparing for CAT. So, for example, you might have traveled the world, you might have taken up some extracurricular things, some hobbies. So these are the things that you can add to justify that you did not waste that 1 year that you skipped after your graduation, or maybe if you left your job. So you need to be honest about it and justify it by telling what other things that you did. So the next question is, how do you justify the comparison with people who prepared for CAT along with jobs? So see, everybody has different starting points, right? So CAT is not a fair game. So you have people who are from engineering background who are naturally good at quants. This is not universally true, but mostly that is the case. So for people who do not have that kind of experience, it might get difficult to, prepare for CAT with a job and get a good enough percentile to get into a college like FMS. So that is one way that you can justify that you do not have that background and you needed more time, and that maybe your job was too consuming. You did not get enough time to prepare alongside with your job. You were too exhausted. If you guys want to add anything, you can go ahead.
No, I think that says it all. That it's not about you being compared to any other person. There's no comparison. In FMS, we all work collaboratively, right? We do offer a competitive environment. We are given a competitive environment, but yet it is a very collaborative environment where we all are here to help each other, not to compare with each other, right? So there would be people who have worked, who have cracked CAT just in one attempt, right? There would be people who might have taken 3 to 4 attempts or even more than that, right? It's more about what you have done throughout that time that has helped you to grow, be it at personal level or at a professional level. Have you done certain certifications? Have you built yourself? Have you enhanced your soft skills or whatever it is? The most important point is you should grow throughout your tenure, right? So that is one thing. I think the next question we have is, I'm a current student pursuing my internship for my BDS degree. What is the percentile for BC male with diversity option? And how to prepare for GDPI especially? Will there be any age for the BDS graduates who wants to join FMS? Okay, Shefali, would you like to answer?
Yeah, so basically, I think the key factor in FMS is your 10th, 12th marks, and how so everyone has a unique journey and experience with them to share. So it's how you could factor all of them and present yourself in the interview panel that actually creates an impact. And it doesn't really matter from whichever background that you come from, but it is how you can present yourself on the D-Day, and how you can create an impact of your experience and share it to the panelist. So that is what matters.
Right. Just to add on this point, as Shefali mentioned, it's about how you can add value. It is all about how you can use the experience you have got through your undergrad or through your work ex or your internship in the classroom discussions, right? As you all know, MBA is all about case studies and practical applications of the concepts you have learned so far, right? So whatever you have done in your work, whatever you have learned in your undergrad, how well can you apply those concepts in the classroom to make the discussions more engaging? And you're not here just to learn from others, right? You also need to ensure that people can learn from you. So every different background, every degree has certain relevance to MBA, and you need to tell the interviewers that this is how I can bring a change, or this is how I can add the value, this is what I bring to the table, right? You have to pitch in that particular thing. So that is what it is about. Mohit, can you please tell us the next question?
Yeah, sure. So the next question is it important to have a good, nice, full of certificates CV to get an admission into FMS? So while it does definitely help to have a CV full of extracurriculars and achievements, it is absolutely not a necessity to get into FMS because it doesn't have any explicit weightage for extracurriculars. But of course, sooner or later, it will matter. It will help you differentiate from your peers at a later stage, maybe.
Yeah. Adding to Mohit, I would just want to say that it is good to have extracurricular hobbies and activities that you follow, something that you're passionate about. This could be actually utilized during your interview process and could be presented in the interview process, mentioning about your passions and what drives you. It could be anything from probably food photography to having a vlog on YouTube, anything, playing guitar maybe, but having extracurricular activities is something that does have a personal touch and makes you set apart from the rest of the crowd.
Okay, we also have a question regarding the interview process and the entire process for the foreign nationals. So for this, we have already shared the information on our Instagram handle, which is FMS Delhi. You can go to that or you can visit our website. But just to share it once here, all the foreign nationals seeking admission to the MBA program, they need to apply through the office of the Deputy Dean, which is for Foreign Students Conference Center, Delhi. You might find the entire address over our Instagram handle. And the foreign nationals need to secure a GMAT score of 650 or more. FMS may restrict admissions to 2 candidates from each continent, and the total number of foreign students shall not exceed 10% of the total admissible strength of the department. So that is the basic criteria, and that is the number of seats or the capacity that FMS has. Again, for the more information, you can visit our website. You will find a brochure there, and you can have a look.
So the next question is, please confirm if it is mandatory to submit NOC from your current employer during the application process itself. So no, during the application process, you do not need to submit any NOC or experience letter. You can submit it later during your admission process itself. And even if at that time you do not have a NOC or any other document that is missing, you can just give an affidavit that you will be submitting this document before a specified deadline, and that would be it. So FMS is very flexible in terms of documents. They will give you sufficient time. You do not need to worry about it.
Just try to ensure that you have all the documents ready with you during the application process. But by any chance, if you do not have it, you might have to produce them during your interview process. Or if you do not, again, if there are certain reasons or because of which you are not able to arrange them, you will have to sign an undertaking during the interview process itself with the admin department that you will submit those documents before this and this date, and which again you need to submit obviously before that date. So you'll get time, but try to ensure that you have the relevant certifications and the relevant documents that you might need. Okay. The next question we have is, any disadvantage of joining FMS as a fresher? Okay, maybe I can answer that, considering I was a fresher when I joined FMS. I don't think so. There's any disadvantage. If you would go through our batch profile, which you might find very easily on our LinkedIn or even on our website or Instagram handle, you would notice that a lot of people here, I don't know the exact percentage, I think it's more than 35%. More than 35% of the students are freshers, and I think it's more about your enthusiasm to learn, right? It's great to be a fresher because you see everything from a completely new perspective. You get to learn a lot from the people who are coming with a lot of work experience. You get to learn from them. Then there are a lot of companies which look for freshers, so that's again one major advantage that you might have. But regardless of the placements, I think there are a lot of learning opportunities. There are a lot of a lot of ways in which you can contribute as a fresher, because you're just coming right after your graduation. So you're fresh on energy. You are habitual of studying for 8 hours, 9 hours a day. You had you just left giving exams, right? Even if you are with 1 year of gap or 2 years of gap, you are in the flow of studies, right? So it becomes easier for you to study, to contribute, to learn, because you have an open mind, right? So you're always willing to explore.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the things that one needs to do before taking an MBA that would be helpful? I don't think you would have a lot of time right now before joining an MBA to do a lot of things that would add to your CV. But just a couple of things that I would like to mention. There are some programs that are conducted by certain companies, some pre-MBA foundation courses. One such course is HCL Foundation School that the applications for it is currently open. You can apply to it through Inside IM website. I think you still have some time to apply for it. So it's a pre-MBA foundation course where selected candidates get to visit their headquarters in Mumbai. They get to interact with their senior leadership. They tell you about the company, the iconic brands that they have, and how they are maintaining their market leader position. So that was a great experience for me. I was a part of it last year. It can also help you secure a pre-placement interview opportunity. So another such program is also conducted by PNG. It's, I think, called Emerging Leaders Program. The applications will open up sometime later in April, I think. So be on the lookout for those. Other than that, some things that can make your life easier at MBA would be, you can try to learn Excel and PowerPoint. That would really save a lot of time for you guys. So if you have time, maybe focus on these two things. And if you guys have anything more to add, please go ahead.
I think, Mohit, you have covered a lot of things already. See, it's more about you really do not have a lot of time before your interview or even before actually joining your FMS. But you can definitely do one internship, a good internship, in whichever domain you are interested. And if you are not interested in doing internships, maybe you can do certain certification courses. If you are into finance, maybe you can do some NISM course, or if you are into marketing, do some digital marketing course. Anything that adds value to not only your CV but also to your growth, that can help you easily sail through the process. As Mohit mentioned, Excel and PowerPoint are going to be your bread and butter for the entire 2 years, right? So you need to be good at them. You can learn them right away, right? Brush up your accounts. If you're from commerce background, trust me, brushing up your concepts will really help you, not only with your interview but also once you join your MBA school. It will really help you because a lot of subjects are similar to what we studied in our UG only.
So, talking about certain HR questions that should be prepared, I think this is common for all the interviews, but in specific, why MBA? Why MBA from FMS are your strengths, and especially if you have a work ex, then certain achievements, some top 3 achievements during your work ex. There could be answers prepared to this so that you could answer them like better on the D-Day. Some strengths, you could have answers prepared to your strengths, your weaknesses. These are certain HR answers that you should have with you prepared for before the interview process.
Right. Thanks, Shefali. I think we have a very interesting question with us. What does a typical day at FMS look like, and what are the major extracurriculars that you guys engage in? Mohit, do you want to answer that? About a typical day at FMS, and what are the major extracurriculars that you guys engage in?
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, when you enter FMS, I think life would be very hectic. You would not have any time for extracurriculars until your summer placements. But after that, you will have a substantial amount of time on your hands. So we have a lot of clubs and societies. So for every domain, we have a society. For example, finance, HR, marketing, and so on. So you can be a part of that. You can help your juniors prep for their summers and your seniors prep for their finals by conducting mock interviews, giving them preparation material, and so on. We also have cultural societies for everything, ranging from photography, cooking, etc. So we also have cultural festivals that take place after the placements are done. So these are the things that you can look forward to. Other than that, you will have the entire ecosystem of Delhi University at your disposal. So if you want to go for sports, if you want to go for other cultural activities taking place in other colleges of Delhi University, you will have plenty of opportunities to do that.
I think that is one of the major USP we have, that one of the best advantages of FMS is its location, that it is part of Delhi University. It is in Delhi. You get to explore everything that is out there in Delhi. You can participate in as many competitions as you can, be it case competitions, be it B plan competitions, cultural activities, or sports activities. There are a lot of fests happening all around the DU. E-summits happening, talk series happening. You can attend them, so you do get time for that. Honestly, it's more about how do you manage it. And again, obviously, we'll have classes 9 to 4 in your first year, and second year, based on your electives, you have your classes. um on a typical day, yeah, we do our acads, we attend our classes. In the evening, a lot of students do live projects, or they are participating in case competitions. That's what they do. People play sports as well. We play TT, basketball, badminton, and all the sports. We give equal importance to cultural things as well. We participate in dance competitions, music competitions. So you literally do everything in FMS. You are going to, if you get selected in FMS, trust me, you're going to enjoy a lot. I think we have pretty much covered all the questions. We have, okay, what to fill in experience details. So if you have any experience, if you have any work ex, you obviously mention, how many months of work ex you have, what company it was in, based on the details that they have asked for. And you need to fill in that. If you're a fresher, you can just mention 00, and it won't ask you for any other detail, or you can leave it blank. How much level of interview in the FMS? So as we mentioned, that the interview is not grilling per se, it's more about understanding you as a person and your ambitions. I think we have covered all the questions. Mohit and Shefali, if you'd like to add something.
Yeah, just to add on the experience details, so you could mention about your roles and responsibilities in your workex and how it has grown you as an individual. So that's pretty much that you could mention in a concise way in your work experience details, provided you have a year or two or more years of experience there.
Also, another thing to note, you can only mention your full-time work experience and not any internships or certifications that you've done. Those do not go under full-time work ex.
Okay, we have, what is the eligibility, ma'am? Riddhi, we have already shared the eligibility with you. Or again, you can refer to our website for more details. Fun why FMS? Okay. Again, FMS, for all the obvious reasons, the best ROI you get here. That is number one for sure. Number two, it's a student-run campus, so you get to be a leader in your college itself. You're not dependent on anybody. You work in groups, you work in teams, you take decisions, you take manager level decisions here, you run societies and clubs, so you get to do a lot of things. That is again a great advantage you get here. Third is our professors and the kind of teaching methodology being followed here. There are teachers who have been serving FMS for the past 37 years, right? We have marketing god with us, we have organization behavior god with us. So the professors you get here are really experienced, and it feels so great to learn from them. So that is another advantage you get at FMS. I think rest about why FMS is something you need to prepare, you need to explore, and you need to see what FMS offers you that fulfills your career prospects or that fits well in your career prospects. Anything else, Mohit and Shefali, would like to add for YFMS?
No, you've pretty much summed up everything, but just one more thing probably would be the live projects that are offered and the corporate competition opportunities that you get at FMS is also a plus plus. But of course, you have to find out, explore what FMS offers and what aligns well with your goals, and personalize your answer accordingly.
Right. I think we have a few more questions. I'll quickly take them up. MBA syllabus, which author books are good? Please suggest me because I'm currently SY BCom student. For the authors, I think it depends on the teacher. Whichever professor is teaching, they will tell you which author to refer. Every subject has a list of 7 to 8 authors which you can refer to. Again, if you want to know more about it or if you want to go deep into the syllabus, it is mentioned in our brochure. You can go through the details. It has a complete syllabus. Then Sachin has asked, do you feel the need of a designated every subject has a list of 7 to 8 of participating environment? Sachin, trust me, I think FMS, there's one very famous line which is quoted for FMS, which is that FMS has the highest intellectual density. Right, it might be a very small campus, but the minds of people here, minds of students and teachers here are next level. I'm not exaggerating it. Plus, because our batch size is relatively smaller than other campuses, I think it helps us to know everybody. I think I know majority of my batch students and even senior batch students because we have a small campus. You can meet literally anybody while you are going to canteen, while you're going out of the FMS, and all of us, like majority of us stay near FMS only. So it's very easy to meet or collaborate for any group assignment or case competition that you might have. Okay, Mohit, we have a question for you from Samyak, I guess. Mohit, I see you are a HUL change maker. How can I get into that and can you share more about that?
Okay, sure. I think I already mentioned the applications are open. So they will ask for very basic details about you, your 10th, 12th graduation, your work experience, what kind of impact you created. After that, you will have a initial profile-based shortlisting. So there is no set criteria, at least out in the open, as to what they take into account while shortlisting people for this program. But after this initial shortlisting, you will have a video interview wherein you have to answer 4 questions in a video format. That is, a question appears on your screen. You have 90 seconds to think about it. And then a video recording starts where you have to speak for 3 minutes. After this, I think around 50 people are selected for the program. So that is about the selection process. And as I said, I would like to reiterate, there is no set criteria, at least in the open, as to who can make it and who cannot. So I have been getting queries as to, I do not have a very stellar percentile. Should I apply for it? Yes, absolutely, you should apply for it. Because there is a very fair opportunity for everyone. Everyone can make it, and trust me, it is an amazing program. The kind of exposure that you will get from this program is unmatchable, at least before you start your MBA. So I would highly encourage people to go to Inside IIM and apply for this.
Okay, let's take a last few questions. What is the fees of FMS college? Riddhi, we have semester wise fees, so it's normally 51,000 rupees per semester, which is approximately 2 lakh rupees for the entire MBA. Again, you can check the FMS website for the exact amount. Okay. Where are you guys? Please share your summer interview stories. Rohit, maybe you can refer to our placement reports and you'll get a better idea. I think we have covered more or less all the questions. Mohit or Shefali, if you would like to end the live session with any tip or anything.
Yeah, so I think the parting thoughts would be that you just have to be confident, calm, on the D-Day of your interview. Also be a very good listener. Listen to the questions that are thrown at you very carefully. Don't be very quick on answering it, but listen carefully to the questions that are posed and then take a few seconds before you speak. So this would be a tip from my side.
Yes, I agree. In your interview, just be yourself, just be original. Do not try to fake it. If you, for example, if you don't know an answer to any question, just be open to say that, sir, I don't know, do not know about it, and just be honest, be humble, and those are pretty much the things that the interviewers are looking for in prospective candidates. And yeah, you'll definitely make it. All the best, everyone.
All the best, guys. Hope to